Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
It's another Beantown Friday edition of the Ice Guys, Friday, November the 3rd, presented by Boston Hemp Inc. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith with you, ready to break down the Friday NHL card. And our Friday guest, Jimmy Murphy, will be with us momentarily as well. Lots to talk about as far as last night in the NHL with a huge Thursday card. Of course, tonight we just have the two games, so obviously it won't be as long a show as obviously we had yesterday, but lots to talk about last night. We had a bunch of early games. The Columbus Blue Jackets, 4-2 win over the Tampa Bay Lightning last night. Solid win for the Blue Jackets there, facing, of course, Matt Tompkins for Tampa Bay. Didn't play that bad, but he wasn't that difference maker either, just because he was playing where he played his college hockey at Ohio State many years ago. And it was a solid effort all around from the Blue Jackets, rallying back in the third period with 3 unanswered goals to erase a 2-1 deficit and end up taking care of business against the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-2 last night in that game. We also saw the Florida Panthers blanking the Detroit Red Wings 2-0, and Detroit's come back down to earth a little bit, at least from that first week or so of the season when they were winning games left and right, and obviously they were scoring a ton of goals as well. Hasn't been nearly the case for the Red Wings lately in some of these games, and there's just a nice road effort from the Panthers last night to get the 2-0 win, bouncing back from a tough one that they lost against Boston the other night. Tough one for me was Carolina. We had the first period, and the full game money line was the best bet yesterday, and the Rangers, to their credit, man, that was a brutal spot. I still believe it was, coming back home after a long road trip like that, and for them to just gut it out, and grind out a victory. And that's what the Rangers have been so good at this year. And to be honest with you, the way the Rangers are playing right now, it's reminding me of the way teams have to play in the playoffs if they're going to have success. You got to grind out victories where it's not pretty, it's not always aesthetically pleasing, but you've been good defensively. You've got obviously an elite goaltender in Igor Shesterkin. And right now they're using that formula and just enough offense, especially from that power play. That's the one thing you still cannot do if your team's playing the New York Rangers, is give them power plays. They are still extremely lethal with the man advantage. And so that was a great job by them last night. That's tough. Asking them to come back home off a terrific road trip, and then all of a sudden they end up just finding a way against the Carolina Hurricanes last night. Very, very impressed. That was so impressive with the Rangers win last night that, I had to upgrade them a little bit after that. That showed me a lot last night from what we saw with the Rangers finding a way to win that game against Carolina. The LA Kings still unblemished and perfect on the road this year. They get another road win, 5-0 now on the road for the Kings to start the season, 3-2 against the Ottawa Senators. A poor Ottawa, man. They just keep suffering injuries. Now it's Ridley Gregg, who's played really well for them. Third-line center, leaves the game, and now they're saying he's probably going to miss significant time for the Ottawa Senators. And they're already banged up on the blue line now. So tough times for Ottawa, no question. And this little losing streak has now bumped them to 4-5 now on the season. So tough times right now for the Ottawa Senators as the injuries start to mount. Islanders with a workmanlike 3-0 shutout win against the Washington Capitals. Good job by them after blowing the lead against Detroit the other night. If Washington, when you play them this year, if you play good defense, you are more than capable of shutting them out, and the Capitals were able to do that. Great game with the Leafs and Bruins. A lot of intensity, very well played, back and forth it went. Great goaltending. I thought both goalies played well. Jeremy Swayman and Ilya Samsonov both played well. The draw cashes, I said on Twitter, with plus 360 is actually what it ended up being at FanDuel right before puck drop. But like I say, a draw bet a day keeps the bookies away. And that's definitely what we saw with the Leaf Bruin draw cashing. I also had Toronto. That falls short. Bruins winning a shootout. An awful slew foot happened in that game too. Marchand and Timothy Liljegren And it looks like it's going to be a significant time, at least a couple of weeks minimum, for Liljegren out of the lineup now for the Leafs after that. No penalty on the play. That's alarming enough for Leaf fans, but I know what they're also pissed about. And that's really the front burner story coming out of that game. Not one person went to the aid of Liljegren and went after Marchand after that. Not one. And that is not supposed to be the case for a team that's added a Ryan Reeves, a Tyler Bertuzzi, and a Max Domi. Bertuzzi and Domi aren't fighters, but they've got some sandpaper, some grit. They'll get in your face. They'll get in your kitchen. They'll drop the gloves every now and then. Even they didn't do anything about it. Reeves was nowhere to be found, to step in there. So what's going on here? They thought they had addressed this team toughness bullshit and this problem with lack of it for years. And nobody helped out Liljegren last night in that spot. So the Leaf Nation is just absolutely irate over just the lack of team camaraderie and uniting together to help out a teammate who it looks like, had the skates kicked out from under him by Marchand in a bit of a somewhat dirty incident. Now, there's some people that say they were going into the boards. It's hard to prevent that, but you had an opportunity there to not make it look so obvious, and Marchand did. But the bottom line is that still requires a response when you see your teammate down in a significant injury, and nobody did shit for the Leafs. So now all the questions about, does this team have each other's backs? All those age-old questions are coming back to the forefront now for the Leafs once again after last night. We got more games, but those are the early ones. We'll get Alex's thoughts there. Leafs, Bruins, Isles, Caps, Kings, Sens, Canes, Rangers, Lightning, Jackets, Panthers, Red Wings. Alex, what were your thoughts there from that group of games last night?
Yeah, well, I mean, we can start with the Leafs, and I did edge work earlier with Zach Phillips, of course, hosting, and he's a huge Leafs fan, and he had plenty to say and rant about that, And it's funny because I said it, in the offseason when everybody was saying, "Oh, you can't just bully around this Leafs team anymore," and everybody, put that on Twitter saying that now they got Reeves and Domi and Bertuzzi. Well, so much for that. It seems like the camaraderie isn't quite all there just yet. You saw Max Domi just a year ago at Chicago. Stepping up for Patrick Kane. It seemed like it for an innocuous hit, and all of a sudden he's jumping right in the middle. Getting in the way of things. Why is he not doing that here? Ryan Reeves. To borrow the phrase, like I said, he literally has one job, right? Is to protect his teammates on the ice. No one's expecting him to score 10 goals. No one's expecting him to get, a bunch of assists. No one's expecting him to be an all-star or do anything considerably, helpful on the offensive end of the boards. All you're there for really is to fight. And the time when you're supposed to be on the ice out there fighting, you weren't. So, yeah, that's very problematic. And I understand why all of Leafs Nation should be pissed off right now. I know I would be if I was a fan of that team as well. You have guys that are supposed to be there to answer the bell when incidents like this take place, and for them to not show up is problematic. So they got to address that internally before they can figure anything else out moving forward. As far as some of the other games, like I said, Tampa Bay and Columbus, Tompkins, yeah, he played well. He played well for considering the just the situation that he's in. And we talk about this with a lot of these goalies where, you're sitting for a long period of time and all of a sudden you come in, you get this one game and now, you're under the microscope. But he did fairly well. So I wouldn't pin too much on him at fault. You mentioned about Florida and Detroit, a game I thought we were going to see way more goals, but Bobrovsky, like I said, with a nice shutout win, Detroit has kind of regressed a little bit now. A little bit problematic considering, like I said, now with the Ottawa losing, you'd think they want to be keeping this momentum moving forward. So they want to try and turn things around sooner than later, certainly for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, Denda. We'll see, because Detroit now, leveling off for sure from the early part of the season with that great success they had. Same old from the Minnesota Wild. Defensive issues, lose again to the New Jersey Devils 5-3. It's easy to say in hindsight, right? 2020, but my goodness, I mean, New Jersey at -115 felt dirt cheap. And I said, but it is home and home. Minnesota back home. They're going to be chomping at the bit. They weren't. Not enough, at least, to beat the Devils last night, 5-3. But thankfully, and I was happy to see this, maybe, I don't know what took so long, they've got Marco Rossi in practice today, finally on the top line with Kaprizov. It's about damn time. I don't know what took Dean Evison so long to make this switch, but Marco Rossi's been among your best forwards all season long. Scored again last night for the Minnesota Wild in the defeat. And finally, it looks like he's going to get a look on the top line. So that prop is going to be interesting for him because we know he's been in that 5, 6, even 700 range to score goals this year. Will there be an adjustment now that he's going to play with Kaprizov on the top line, it looks like, starting tomorrow night when they host the New York Rangers? So that is definitely something to keep an eye on. But again, same old issues. Couldn't get a save when they needed it. Defensive blunders, not a good defensive team without Spurgeon. We've said that over and over again. But credit to this Devils team, man. They just keep scoring goals in bunches. The power play can't be stopped. Dougie Hamilton and Luke Hughes are outstanding defensemen as far as moving the puck up the ice and quarterbacking the power play. And it goes without saying, it's ridiculous what they have up front. Jack Hughes, Tyler Toffoli, Jesper Bratt. And they're all on fire now, too, those guys. That's the thing. They're all just in great form offensively. And the over streak continues for the New Jersey Devils. That's now 9 New Jersey Devils games, 9 overs, 9-0 to the over for New Jersey this year, Alex.
Yeah, great market. And with Minnesota, it's just, interesting to see how things just continue to unravel with this team right now. And Philip Gustafson, once again, letting in some soft goals. The defense is not looking good in front of him. And, like I said, that Spurgeon absence just looms larger and larger every game. That you don't see him out there. But, like I said, Rossi moving up to the top line. We'll see how they adjust the numbers and, if that makes any kind of, movement forward, with this offense. But the Wild just seem to be in trouble. And like I said, I'm just counting down and waiting. Hopefully that it means, Evanson's job. I hate to say that. Obviously, it's nothing personal, but that 28-1 ticket is just sitting there. I'm waiting. And it's interesting because I also have DJ Smith plus 450, and you talk about Ottawa's issues. But I think a lot of these issues with Ottawa is not DJ Smith's fault, right? Obviously Shane Pinto is certainly not his fault. The injuries are not his fault. Things with Evason, and like I said, waiting so long to move Rossi from, third line to first line and making some of these adjustments and maybe not, knocking down Kirill Kaprizov a few games and trying to, get the real blender out and, run 3 lines that, can give you offense at any point in the game. Don't necessarily stick to this, top tier, have your top 6 forwards and have your bottom line guys grind it out. You got to do something, drastic and radical because you're having the same start you had last year. Know how things ended up at the end of last season, another first round playoff exit. You need to do something a bit more radical. And I think Evason, maybe he's waited a little bit too late. If these losses keep mounting up, I think he might be going somewhere else sooner than later.
Clock might be ticking. You're right about that. And Alex trying to get the fire Dean Evason hashtag going last night on X. But yeah, tough times, tough start here for this Minnesota team. Now the lines are in a blender at practice today. We'll see if that produces better things moving forward. Edmonton can't get on track, man. You think maybe the Heritage Classic win lights the spark for this team. And sure enough, Dallas on a back-to-back on the road, and the Oilers rested, and the Oilers still can't win. They lose 4-3 to the Dallas Stars. They needed old man Sam Gagner to try to rescue that game for them. He scored 2 of their goals in the third period. Credit to him, though. They actually just signed him a few days ago, and he got a PTO with the team at training camp, made the team, and he's the one that really sparked some kind of comeback for them in the third period last night, but not enough. As they lose 4-3 to the Dallas Stars. That's a damn good Dallas Stars team. I mean, they're off to a phenomenal start, 7-1-1 to begin the season. Man, these Western Conference playoffs. It's almost like, can we fast forward to April and May and see these Western Conference playoffs? I mean, my goodness, Vegas and Colorado and Dallas and all these just heavyweight teams going at it. I really can't wait, to see it all transpire again because there's going to be some excellent matchups. Another team on a back-to-back that found a way to win, which tells you that the back-to-back spot is not always guaranteed win for the opponent. And Arizona was on a tough back-to-back last night after the great game with Anaheim the previous night that went to overtime. But they survived the back-to-back, and they found a way to get past Montreal last night by a score of 3-2. Connor Ingram robbed Suzuki with like 2 minutes to go. Like, it was an unbelievably great stop. And it was a point-blank chance for Suzuki to tie that game in the third period, but Ingram made the key saves when he needed it. Arizona gets the 3-2 win last night against the Montreal Canadiens. I guess the highlight for me betting-wise, because it certainly wasn't Montreal the draw and the over. They all fell short. The highlight for me would have been Lawson Crouse. We did mention him on the show yesterday, and I did have a piece of him to score the goal last night for Arizona. He's heating up since he's been moved to that top line. He once again finds the back of the net for the Coyotes in that victory last night. Seattle, good job by them. They were in a little bit of a tough spot. First home game, a lot like the Rangers, first home game off a road trip, but they take care of business 4-2. Funny thing is, Alex, all these spots we talk about, right? Scheduling wise, back-to-backs, the two teams on back-to-backs against rested opponents won. The teams that were coming home off a long road trip both won, Rangers and Kraken. So that's an eye-opener for me. Like, we don't just knee-jerk bet these spots, You've got to be a little bit careful. And the thing with Seattle is I didn't bet Nashville, and I was never interested in betting Nashville, even though Seattle's off the road trip, because I'm like, Seattle's the better team. They're playing well, and they showed it last night in that 4-2 win against the Predators. Kraken are starting to turn their season around after that really, really tough start. They've played better. Vegas with a 5-2 win against Winnipeg. Pretty good third period effort from them. You could tell they didn't love their game against Montreal. I think Bruce Cassidy kind of got in their ear after that Montreal game where they were sluggish and they were fortunate to win because they got outplayed. And sure enough, Vegas was able to get the job done. Nice 5-2 win over the Winnipeg Jets last night. And then the mother of all debacles last night, the San Jose Sharks, man. Just when you think it's bad enough for this team, it gets just a little bit worse. And that's exactly what we saw last night. I mean, they were down. Quinn Hughes had 3 points in the first 10 minutes of that game against San Jose. And that tells you all you need to know about how bad it started for them. 4-0 after the first period, and it only got worse from there. Absolute beatdown, shellacking of the San Jose Sharks, 10-1 for the Vancouver Canucks in that game. 2 goals for Brock Besser, a 5-point night. 1 goal, 4 assists for Quinn Hughes. And I'm telling you what, if you have any interest of getting somewhat of a decent price on Quinn Hughes to win the Norris Trophy, you better bet it now because that thing is going to keep on plummeting. There's no doubt as of November the 3rd, he's your favorite to win the Norris Trophy. I mean, he's been absolutely terrific here for the Vancouver Canucks early in the season. His defensive game has improved. We know he's leading the NHL in points as a defenseman. And leading NHL defenseman in points, is what I mean. Absolutely incredible what do you mean they should be ashamed, Greg? Do something about it if you're San Jose. And in fact, you can't use that phrase that Vancouver ran up the score because I'll tell you what, the 1 goal that San Jose scored, Fabian Zetterlund's goal that made it 10-1, that shouldn't have counted. That should have been goalie interference on San. There was definitely contact with Demko. And they looked at it, and Rick Tocchet's like, you know what? We're up 10-0 on this team. We will let that goal slide. That shouldn't have counted. If they had challenged that play for goalie interference, I think the Canucks would have won that challenge. They would have taken that one San Jose goal off the board, and it would have been 10-0. But he had some mercy. He had some compassion for the San Jose Sharks last night, and he decided not to challenge that. So he actually had some mercy for San Jose, Rick Tocchet, with that decision not to challenge in that game. But absolutely brutal. Kakkonen is caca. We've said that over and over again. It's just terrible. And Blackwood's not really all that much better. So just absolutely awful. They're an awful hockey team. They're a brutal hockey team. They're the worst hockey team in the NHL. And now we can start the conversation, Alex, after last night. I'm ready to start the conversation. I might have been ready to start it after the first couple games, but I'm ready to start it now with San Jose as to whether this could be one of the all-time worst teams and worst seasons in NHL history. We might be going there with the San Jose Sharks right now. They are that hideous at this point in time. There's no redeeming qualities. There's no offense. There's no game breakers. All the young, talent that they've got is raw. They're not ready at the NHL level yet. The defense is a disaster. It's a colossal, epic disaster. Breakdowns left and right. Nobody marking their man in front of the net, turning the puck over, treating it like a hand grenade, and probably the biggest sieve duo of goaltending you'll ever see between Mackenzie Blackwood and Kaapo Kakkonen right now. So there's nothing good to say about San Jose Sharks hockey right now. Like I say, the conversation can begin about whether this is going to end up being an all-time historically bad season and team in National Hockey League history.
I mean, I thought that conversation had already begun, when we were doing the season preview, essentially.
And then last night happened, yeah.
That's the reason I said that this team may only win 2 games between opening night and American Thanksgiving, because you could just see on paper they have nothing. Yeah. They have absolutely nothing. And when your team obviously always looks a little bit better on paper more often than not than when it is on the ice. So as bad as it looks on paper, it's even worse, in real life now. And so 10-1, that may not be the last time we see them give up double-digit goals in a game. That may not be the last time we've seen them get blown out by 7, 8, 9 goals in a game. They are that bad, and like I said, they're on a historic, colossal collapse within the season right now, and it's going to get to the point where it's just hard to bet this team because, like you said, you're getting outpriced and everything. I was surprised that we even got plus money with the first period puck line on Vancouver. Plus 135 was a gift last night. That was cashed in within 4 minutes, and you were never really in worry. I think there was one chance where San Jose might have gotten a quality shot in the first period, and that was about it. So they can you can sleepwalk to this playing this team right now and beat them by margin. So it's going to be tough to find ways to fade them at this point, and it's just a matter of trying to pick when they're going to get their first win. I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. It could be a very long time before they get win number one, and it doesn't seem like they're probably going to get more than a dozen wins this whole year the way they're playing right now.
Yeah, it's bad. Like this is definitely that's maybe already the worst start I've seen an NHL team have to begin a season. I mean, and they were fortunate to get the 1 point. Like they have 1 point in that overtime loss to Colorado, and that was that one night where, for one night only, Mackenzie Blackwood turned into Marty Brodeur for one night. And that's the only reason they got 1 point in that game. So it's been bad. It's been really, really rough for San Jose. Yet you look ahead to tomorrow night, Pittsburgh is coming to the Shark Tank. The Pittsburgh Penguins, who are struggling right now to take on the San Jose Sharks. And I'm looking at Bet Online, who are one of the first books offshore to post NHL lines for the next day. They're one of the first to market. Pittsburgh opened minus 275 against San Jose Saturday night. It's now minus 240 at Bet Online. There's actually San Jose money. People watched that last night and said, yeah, we're going to bet San Jose on Saturday night against Pittsburgh. And I think it's twofold. One is this is a hideous, maybe historically bad hockey team, but after you get absolutely dummied like that, even a bad team is going to go through the boards tomorrow night to make amends for it, to try to play better, to try to get a win, to try to be competitive after that kind of loss. There's no question about that. And on the flip side, it's not like Pittsburgh's playing in any good form right now. They're not at this moment. They've got questions. They're already finger pointing going on in that hockey team right now. So I'm telling you what, me personally, and we'll talk more about it tomorrow, I feel like I need to bet Pittsburgh because San Jose is that bad, and I've been fading San Jose every game. But I'm long pause, let's put it that way. Long pause for me personally on putting any Pittsburgh Penguins bets in my portfolio for Saturday night. Even though I've been gung-ho, fade San Jose, and it's been awfully fruitful to this point, I'm very, very leery and hesitant to pull the trigger with Pittsburgh tomorrow night because that team's a little bit of a mess right now.
Yeah, I mean, I get, like I said, I understand people at this point trying to cherry pick and grab, San Jose for the first win, but I wouldn't advise doing that. Like I said, I wouldn't also advise laying these kind of prices with some of the teams that they're going to be playing as well. It's just, a win is going to come at some point. Okay, this team's not going to go 81-1 or what have you. But like I said, yeah, this is not a Pittsburgh team that you'd want to be laying prices with. And certainly, like I said, you have to be really picky who you're backing against when going against San Jose and what what form that team is in going in playing against them.
I think I heard on the Vancouver broadcast of the Canucks Sharks game last night, John Shorthouse, the play-by-play guy, say that Kyle Dubas was in the booth next to them. I heard him say that during obviously he's there already. Pittsburgh's out there for the game Saturday night. Like he's scouting San Jose. Like, is that a sign they're taking that game damn seriously? Like the GM of the team, the president of hockey ops is in the booth scouting a miserable hockey team that you think you could beat blindfolded right now. And yet he's doing the work and looking at the team and, trying to see some things that maybe he can tell Mike Sullivan about for the game Saturday night. So it sounds like, at least from the GM perspective, Pittsburgh's taking San Jose damn seriously, and they need to because they need to stop the bleeding, the Penguins. It's been a rough go for them the last few games. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow night. But like I say, Pittsburgh's not a team I'm rushing to back right now. Let's put it that way. But obviously, I'm not betting San Jose. I don't care about the embarrassment spot and wanting to bounce back and atone for it. So we will talk more about that tomorrow. But we will talk now about 2 games coming up on Friday night's NHL card, including a rematch. We had these 2 teams playing each other Wednesday night. It was the TNT game on Wednesday night. Now they are back in action head-to-head one more time tonight in Buffalo. The Flyers and the Sabres. We've got Buffalo minus 165 home favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. I cashed with Buffalo in the over in Philly on Wednesday night. Happy to see that result play out that way. And of course, the Sabres got the job done. Sabres didn't play great, though. Flyers probably deserved a better fate. They probably carried the play more than Buffalo did in that game. But the bottom line is you got to finish on your chances when you get them. Buffalo did a better job of that in that 5-2 win. And now for Philadelphia, they're 1-5 in their last 6 games. And this reminds me of exactly, Alex, how they started the year last year. You know, they had that hard-trying start, work ethic, really battling teams tough, and then talent took over, and then they started to struggle and level off. And we're starting to see that happen again here with the Philadelphia Flyers. They just don't have a ton offensively. And when, you know, you put the clamps down on Travis Konechny and you put the clamps down on Joel Farabee and some of these players that have been the impact on offense for them early in the season, you're capable of beating them right now. And now things get worse. Carter Hart's out. Samuel Ersson has really had a tough start to the year, and he is the starter tonight in net for the Philadelphia Flyers. John Tortorella said, look, he's got to be the guy right now for us. There's no one else. So it's sink or swim with Samuel Ersson. And right now they're sinking with him. 0-2, 4.91 goals against, 763 save percentage. Oh, my goodness. That is absolutely hideous for Sam Ersson right now in net for the Philadelphia Flyers. So really tough numbers. He's had very little success. This is a guy that actually played well in some starts last year. Do we leave the door open for him to get better? Yes, but I need to see it first, you know, before I'm ready to trust him in this spot. On the flip side, you got Philadelphia, of course, Buffalo with Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, who's actually steadily getting better for the Buffalo Sabres. That shutout win against Colorado with him in goal was very impressive. And then UPL comes right back and stops 38 of 40. Faced 40 shots from Philadelphia Wednesday night in that win. Stopped 38 of them in that 5-2 win. So right now, you trust Luukkonen in between the pipes a little bit more than Ersson based on the numbers. But why would I bet Buffalo tonight when I took him at an even money price on the road, when I know Philly's going to be looking for redemption and to play better, and now lay a premium price now with Buffalo, minus 165? I won't do it. Buy low time was with Buffalo Wednesday night. It's not buy low time with Buffalo here. It's not buy low in the below is what I'm trying to say here with Buffalo here at minus 165 tonight. So the only bet I've got is the over. I'm coming right back to it again because I cannot deny, and it's the reason I liked over 6.5 the other night. It's just these 2 teams play each other, and there seems to be goals. That's now 10-1 to the over in the last 11 head-to-head meetings between the Flyers and Sabres. 10-1 to the over. For some reason, you get these 2 teams together, and the pucks are going in. 5-2, 6-3, 5-2. The one under was a 4-0 win for Philly last year in Buffalo. And then you saw 5-3, 4-3, 6. I mean, you go on and on and on. It's just been over Palooza here with the Flyers and the Sabres repeatedly. So that's the only play for me. Over 6.5 here at minus 130 with the Flyers and Sabres. Alex, what do you think here? Philadelphia, Buffalo.
Yeah, slight lean to Flyers at a plus price here. Like I said, with just the kind of rapid revenge spot, but it's hard to trust. You know, Sam Ersson, as I call him, Sam Error, as I call him on X. Like I said, just dreadful numbers so far. But Buffalo, you know, they have to prove it to me. Can they start stringing together wins? And you know, this is one of those spots. Like I said, I'm not trying to lay a price with them either. So if I had to take a side, it would be leaning toward Philly. But I'm going to be looking for a live over in this game. Wait for 5.5, something minus 120 to 125 range. I think we can wait and get about 3 or 4 scoreless minutes here and then try to get that adjusted number in game for the over.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I say, it's definitely a spot where I think we could see Philadelphia play better. But maybe Buffalo at times. They beat this team already a couple days ago. Do they play down a little bit? It's a worry for me, especially when you factor in their minus 165 home favorites in this game. That's just not the price range I'm ready to get there with Buffalo just yet. Like we'll have our spots to back Buffalo, like Wednesday night when they're cheaply priced in a favorable spot. This is not a favorable spot, and it's a much worse price. So yeah, I agree. I would be Flyers or nothing for me, but I don't trust Ersson enough. That's why I'm going to over 6.5 here with Philadelphia and Buffalo. And as far as player props go in this game, Dylan Cousins goal assist, I like it. How about JJ Peterka? How about Brandon Biro? This guy got his first 2 NHL goals. I'm fascinated to see where they put him in the lineup. Moving forward, Don Granato, does he give this guy even more opportunity now after seeing the great performance he had Wednesday night in Philadelphia? Looks like Byro's, wow, Byro's going to be with Thompson and Green with Byro. You got to look at props with Byro. Byro is definitely going to be undervalued, playing with Tage Thompson now on the top line. So Don Granato is already rewarding him for a very strong effort the other night in that 5-2 victory over the Flyers in Philly, putting Byro on the top line. His goal prop is, plus 470. That's sign me up. That's the bargain bin right there. I'm going to give it away right now. That's bargain bin special written all over it of the night for me. You won't even have to watch the segment later on. I'm giving it away right now. Byro on the, was he on the top line the other night? Real Deal Prime? I wasn't sure about. He was. Okay. Well, you got to roll with it. You got to absolutely roll with it. That's and I didn't love the card for bargain bins tonight, quite honestly. And there's only 2 games as well. That doesn't help, but that one is a clear choice for me. Definitely a great price for someone that's got offensive confidence, playing on the top line. And again, upwards of plus 470 is at Betano, plus 430 at FanDuel. So some really good prices out there. No question about that. So I've given away my bargain bin special of the night right there, but that's okay. I don't mind doing that on this short card. Shout out to everyone in the chat. I do want to point out Poe Degen Stoner again, man. He's been very generous. The donos, the appreciation for the show. We appreciate it very much. Poe Degen Stoner for the $2 donation, supporting the channel and the shows. We appreciate it very much. So yeah, those are the props for Buffalo. I should say for Philadelphia, as far as props go, Atkinson's been better lately. Konechny, Brink, Joel Farabee. Joel Farabee is someone that has had a nice start to the year. 5 goals for the Philadelphia Flyers. He got one of the 2 goals the other night against Buffalo. So I don't mind that. You're definitely getting value. That guy is playing better than his goal prop price currently indicates. So you're definitely getting some better numbers there, prices with a guy like Joel Farabee, who's off to a nice start this season for the Flyers. All right, the second game on this Friday card, it's the New Jersey Devils taking on the St. Louis Blues. We've got Jersey minus 150, road favorites. The total in this game, 6.5, shaded to the over. It is a rest advantage for St. Louis. They played Wednesday night in Colorado, losing to the Colorado Avalanche in that game. So they have the extra rest. Devils are on a back-to-back after playing in Minnesota last night. We saw Vanacek last night, so we should see Akira Schmid in net tonight for the New Jersey Devils. Binnington has already been confirmed in net for the St. Louis Blues in this game. So you know what we've been doing with New Jersey games, right? We mentioned it just a moment ago. 9 New Jersey games, 9-0 to the over. I am on the over here, but I'm on the over with some trepidation because St. Louis is just not playing with an over pace. They're struggling mightily to score goals right now. And their defense and their goaltending from Binnington's been a little bit better as well. But I'm not going to reinvent the wheel when I've been on all these overs with New Jersey. I'm on it until it stops cashing at this point. So I am back to New Jersey over again tonight and taking the Devils and Blues over 6.5 minus 125. Again, I worry about this one because the Blues just aren't driving pace. They're not scoring right now. They're going to need to help me out. I worry we could see something like 4-1 or 5-1 New Jersey and the game stays under with the way the Blues are having a hard time finding the back of the net right now. But I still have to go with it. Ride it until it loses. Devils Blues over 6.5 here in this one. Jimmy is on in transit, but he's been trying to join us. I think we've got him now. Jimmy, what's up?
Can you guys hear me okay?
We got
Yeah.
you.
Awesome. Sorry, I apologize, guys. I'm on my way to see Maddie, and my phone's just not working good today, so I apologize.
Yeah, it's all, you know what's funny? There's so many people. I mean, Alex, it's his his phone's working, but the internet, which runs off it, it's having issues. So yeah, technology, man, it just always seems to get in the way. Yeah.
Yeah, the Gremlins are alive. I don't know if you guys heard what happened last night either. I mean, I don't know if you even tried watching it and experienced it, but apparently I was at the game, but I saw on social media that the Bruins-Leafs game kept pausing out and crapping out on people on ESPN Plus. So
really?
Yeah, I heard about it. I didn't see it, but I did hear about that. Yeah.
Yeah, they were getting really murdered. I actually was talking to Steve Levy after the game, and he's just like, "We got to do something about this because this is happening too much." So.
Yeah, that is bad. And people are going to rant and rave, and poor Steve Levy and Ray Ferraro did the game last night. They're going to get the brunt of it. It's not their fault.
Exactly.
You know, they're just calling the game. It's behind the scenes. We got to get the technological staff to make sure this runs smoothly without any issues. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, I mean, I get, and people are also they're also upset because, they're paying their cable bill and then they have to pay extra to get some of these games, to get Hulu and ESPN Plus. And look, I totally empathize with that. I get it. But sadly, it's 2023. This is where we're at. And this is the way it's going to continue to be. It's not going to get any better. So, I don't know if people realize, it's not that expensive to get Hulu and ESPN Plus. And then you can get all those games every night, and it's compared to what I used to pay when I was paying like $100 a month for Center Ice package on, DirecTV. It's not that bad a deal. So I guess I just look at all things are relative. And I mean, hey, if you're going to pay for Netflix, I'd rather do the Disney package. You get Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus for a bundle. And I think it's like $19.99 a month.
Right.
I think it's worth it,
Yeah. Well, of course, Bilkos has probably got something similar to me. Bilkos in the chat saying it was fine, that feed of ESPN Plus with Leafs Bruins on my totally legal stream. Yeah, my little stream was okay with it too. It's funny because whenever I had ESPN Plus on for that Leaf game last night, it was fine for me. It's the craziest.
Yeah, maybe it's just where you are. Maybe it's regional.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's bizarre. You know what? Since we're on that topic, Jimmy, we'll before we get your thoughts on the two games tonight, Leafs Bruins. You were there last night. It was a pretty hard contested game. Great goaltending. I thought both goalies played a hell of a game.
Yeah.
Jeremy Swayman and Ilya Samsonov. I thought they were both outstanding. It was tough to see one of them lose in the shootout, but the Bruins get it done. You know what impressed me about Boston? We always start to panic, right? Especially when there's injuries. And we start to panic when there's cluster absences in one position. In Boston's case, the blue line. There's no Matt Grzelcyk. There's no Charlie McAvoy serving his 4-game suspension. But I'm telling you what, hats off to Ian Mitchell, Parker Witherspoon, and Mason Low-Ride. He's a low Mason Low-Ride for Boston last night.
I love it.
Yeah, credit to them. I know.
I'll tell them that. I'll tell the boys that in the locker room. We'll see if they catch on to it.
I couldn't resist. Yeah, they were good, Jimmy. They were solid. For young kids put into a tough spot, playing a good team. Low-Ride, Witherspoon, and Mitchell. Man, hats off to them.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I wasn't surprised by Low-Ride. He was amazing in the preseason. I've been watching him since they drafted him. He's a minutes eater at Ohio State. The one thing we kind of have been worried, he still needs work. The one thing that everybody's kind of been worried about is just, is he strictly an offensive guy, and can he get back and play D and handle the defensive rigors of the NHL? And so far, so good. I mean, he's really proven himself to me. And they needed him again to eat up some minutes last night with, Grzelcyk and McAvoy out and Forbert. And, the other two, though, is what impressed me more. I mean, I bet a lot of people out there, if you asked, 8 or 9 out of 10 people across the NHL in terms of fans or even media, do you know who Ian Mitchell and Parker Witherspoon are? I'm sure they don't know. And you know what? I had no idea who Witherspoon was until he got here. So, They were great. And, hats off to them for stepping in a tough situation, and hats off to Jim Montgomery for creating, and Joe Sacco, their defensive coach, for creating a system that they can just put guys in and out of, and everybody knows their job, and they all work together in synchronicity. It was, I thought, a really impressive job by them, especially on the penalty kill, where they're really, missing Derek Forbert. And then I just thought, not that I don't want to shift away from those guys, credit to them, but another guy that I think, I don't know if you guys know, he's been getting a lot of crap here in Boston because he has no points yet. And he's making a nice salary as Hampus Lindholm, but he was a monster last night. And, people always, that's the problem, guys, right? It's like when we look at defensemen, everybody's just so hooked on offense. And if the guy's not producing points, then he's not a good defenseman. He's overrated. He shouldn't be out there. He's not worth the money. Like Hampus Lindholm almost had 30 minutes time on ice last night. He had 2 block shots. He had 3 hits. He was just a beast out there. And he did this again last year when McAvoy was out, So people got to really start to look at the whole picture and not just the stats, not just the points. And if you do, you're going to realize that Hampus Lindholm's worth every penny.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And look, he got a lot of the blame for the first round exit against Florida, who played well on the blue line, in that series.
He was playing on a broken ankle, Ian.
Yeah.
He had a broken ankle that whole series. I mean, what the hell do you want from the guy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought he had a good game. And you know what's funny? I didn't mention it on the show, and it's one thing, and it didn't work out, the theory, but I still think it's going to be worth a look as long as McAvoy's out. Hampus Lindholm goal, assist, and power play point props, because he's number 1 power play unit quarterback now for Boston with McAvoy out. So keep an eye on that for the next game in particular.
And Jopan Lohrei too. I mean, I don't, it's probably going to take a bit for the odds makers to catch on to him. Get on him now, man. I mean, this he's going to rack up points. Trust me. Yeah,
that's a great insight. He's got that offensive upside too. What did you think of the Marchand Liljegren play? The Leaf fans are upset with Marchand. You know what they're more upset about though? Nobody went and did a damn thing.
That the Leafs are a bunch of pussies.
Yeah, nobody got in his face. No one gave him a grief. No one, challenged him or anything. It's just like, oh well, we'll just let her rip. Let her go.
Like Ryan Reeves was chirping him on the bench.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw what Marchand said to him. He says, "Yeah, if you're going to do something, you kind of got to get on the ice to do it." And he didn't get on the ice. And and I thought the hilarious thing was Bertuzzi.
Yeah.
Just over in the corner there, kind of away from his teammates now in Toronto. And he's just kind of laughing like, dude, this guy's in your head. Like he was, he's going to deny it, but he was laughing at his teammates at how much they let Marchand get under their skin, and I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, the hit, guys, look, when I first saw it, and I guess, and it's sad to say, it's just Marchand's reputation, right? The first thing I thought was that's a slew foot. But then I looked at it more and it wasn't a slew foot. But then I'm like, okay, is it a trip? But the more I look at it, if Liljegren doesn't try to rub Marchand out there, none of that happens. He doesn't go flying into the boards. I mean, that's what started that whole sequence where he lost his balance. And Marchand's going for the puck. He comes in, tries to rub him out. Liljegren tries to rub Marchand out, and then he falls. And so, I get it. Look, I know Marchand's reputation. He's far and away not innocent by any means, but I don't think there was anything wrong with that. I think it was just freak luck.
I've seen much worse. Yeah.
You guys know I'm objective. I would call him out in a heartbeat, and I have on this show, and I have.
Hey, you called out McAvoy. You said that McAvoy was ridiculous. He can't be doing that.
I still can't believe he's appealing that. Like, what is he appealing?
Yeah.
He's lucky he didn't get 10 games. That's crazy that he's appealing that. But yeah, I don't think Marchand was in the wrong in this one. I mean, I know usually he is, but this time I don't think it was on him.
Yeah, I've seen a lot. To me, the bigger deal is the Leafs, didn't really react to it.
Yes.
In any way. Yeah. That's the bigger deal at all. They just let the
game. Well, it's interesting, right, guys? I'm making fun of Reeves there, and Marchand's chirp was great, but at the same time, I mean, Reeves isn't going to fight Marchand.
No.
No. And I asked someone in the press box last night, and they're like, "Oh, that's not a bad point. What if Milan Lucic was in the lineup last night?"
Yeah.
I think then we see him and Reeves drop it as a result of that play.
Yeah.
Then Reeves goes out and picks a fight to kind of rile the boys up. But I mean, who on the Bruins was Reeves going to fight? Nobody's in his weight class.
Yeah.
So
there's no doubt.
I don't know. It's
Marchand in
a
a million
spot.
years isn't dropping the gloves with Reeves. And if Reeves does that with Marchand, he's getting an instigator probably. And Reeves doesn't want to do that. So there you go. That's why nothing transpired in that department.
And truth be told, I was watching Reeves pretty closely last night. He was doing a great job of creating screens and traffic down low and driving Jeremy Swayman. Swayman gave him a slash at one point too, got away with it. So, you're right. I know people look at Ryan Reeves, they think all he's there is to fight, but he was actually contributing in other ways last night. So it was probably best that he didn't wind up in a sin bin. I just say, you know what? I'm not going to judge the Leafs on that one. Yes, I think there should have been more of a response, but let's see what happens December 2nd when both teams have their full lineup maybe and see how they respond then.
Yeah, sometimes they wait till the next game, for a past grievance, if you will. To see something happen. We'll see. And the Leaf, I'm sure it'll get back to the Leaf players that the media is, basically excoriating them for lack of a team toughness response to that play last night. So we'll see if maybe that next game, you're right, something does happen. About Reeves too, and I'll keep this in mind with him too, is that you're right. He's been doing some other things outside of his normal, things you would expect him to do to try to help the team. And I got to give Swayman credit. That game, the Leafs actually had an excellent, borderline dominant second period. He kept it at 2-2.
Oh, yeah.
He kept it at 2-2 and a terrific period from Swayman to give them a chance to steady the ship in the third. The Bruins, once DeBrusk scored that goal, the Bruins just stopped skating. I don't know what happened there. They got content, what have you. And Swayman saved their bacon. You're right. I mean, if not for him, the Leafs easily win that game. And then you mentioned Samsonov too. I thought that was probably his best performance of the season. It's too bad he lost. I know he's been going through some mental health issues. Yeah.
But hopefully he can take some salvation that he definitely earned his team a point in that game.
He was great. Yeah. And I'm happy for him. I hate to hear when someone's going through the mental struggles off the ice like him. And like I say, he's having a day off now, be with his newborn child and his wife. So that's, I'm sure it'll be some comfort for him today, and it was good to see him get back on the beam with a better performance. All right, Jimmy, by the way, I want Jimmy's thoughts on San Jose. Like Alex and I think this is going to be one of the all-time worst teams, worst seasons in NHL history. Agree or disagree?
It's looking like agree right now. And look, I went to high school. I graduated high school with Mike Greer, guys. You know that. I told you that. The general manager of the Sharks. And everybody knew they were going into a rebuild here and it kind of accepted that. But this is just like, get some pride, do you guys have any pride? I mean, like, it's just pathetic. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm just kind of speechless at their performance right now. And they could very well become the worst team in the history of the NHL.
I mean, it's not without the realm of possibility.
Did I lose you guys?
No, we got you.
I'm still there.
Although I don't know if he can hear us. Jimmy? Yeah, must be
I'm here, guys. Can you hear me?
We got you.
Okay, we got you now.
There we go. Yeah, we got you back again. Good stuff there. All right, Jimmy, Philadelphia, Buffalo, the first game tonight. Anything you like in that game? No, I think we've lost Jimmy again. Jimmy's going in and out, but New Jersey, St. Louis is what we'll see if we can reconnect with Jimmy in a moment. In the meantime, I mentioned there. I knew he was going to drop out any moment. You could tell he was just in and out of being able to hear us. Yeah. But Alex, New Jersey, St. Louis, what do you like here?
Yeah, this is a game. I love this. Over and the first period in the full game, but definitely looking for it live. And like you mentioned, St. Louis hasn't been scoring super fast, so this is the one where we can wait. Definitely grab plus money with the 1.5 for the full game, or for the first period, I should say. And with 5.5, we should be able to grab plus money, but I would probably maybe bookmark that a better, land $1.20 or more. So maybe wait a little bit longer potentially to grab the full game, grab that first period over first as soon as that hits plus money. But that's the way I'm looking at this. It's the only way you can bet the Devils right now, just going over their total. But St. Louis, could be a bit of back and forth. Binnington and Schmidt, that definitely seems like a matchup that would lend to some goals. but you can't trust St. Louis to necessarily get the win here as a dog. And like I said, we missed the boat with New Jersey yesterday at a cheap price, and now you got to lay 150, even lay $1.05 or $1.10 in regulation. So I'm just sticking with totals here, looking for stuff in game.
All right, good stuff. Jimmy is back with us. Jimmy, you got us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Perfect. All right, what do you think for New Jersey, St. Louis tonight, Jimmy?
I mean, New Jersey for sure. Obviously you're not getting much value in them either on the money line or the puck line. I heard you earlier when you talked about the over, and I'm kind of hesitant as well on that, just because I agree with you that I don't trust St. Louis to get the goals that you'll need to get there. So I'm going to actually pass in this game, guys.
And the other one, Jimmy, we talked about it earlier, a rematch of Wednesday night, Philadelphia and Buffalo. I like Buffalo a lot Wednesday night, but that was even money. Now in the rematch, they're laying $1.65. But I'll say this, Samuel Ersson has been really bad, and he's got to play now with Hart injured for the Flyers. So it's tough to trust him in net right now for Philadelphia. What do you think about that game?
Yeah, this is where I really like the over, guys. Usually Friday games, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I got a feeling, I don't know what it feels like throughout the years, Friday night games in Buffalo are always crazy games. So I'm going to go with the over in the first period and the over overall in this game.
All right, there you go. First period and full game over for Jimmy. And Jimmy, just briefly looking ahead to Saturday, is there any spot that you kind of like right now, or you can talk specifically about Boston as they play Detroit tomorrow night in the Motor City? What do you think?
Yeah, I got a weird feeling about Detroit. I kind of like Detroit. A week later, they got a second shot at them. They've had a week to adjust, realize what the Bruins are. That wasn't that bad a loss. I'm going to actually look at maybe a draw in that game where the Bruins and the Red Wings go to overtime or a shootout.
Red Wings and draw, Jimmy. I'm giving it away right now. I'll be on both of those tomorrow.
And Mason Lohrei point.
All right, good stuff. Didn't Boston go to Detroit last year in one game and Detroit just crushed them? I remember it.
Yeah.
I think there was one game last year. Yep.
You're right. Detroit is historically over the last 5 years, Detroit has really owned the Bruins, especially in Detroit.
This is a perfect spot maybe for Detroit. I'm thinking of it now. Think about it. Boston already beat them last week at TD Garden. They're coming off these 2 games with rivals, playoff history with Florida early in the week, Toronto, division rivalry. They've had history together. And now after those 2 big-time games, Florida, Toronto at home, now you play this one, a team you already beat. That's definitely a tricky spot for Boston. It is. I like it. All right, Jimmy, you still there? Yeah, he's in one of those. He's probably going through the bridges too, and that's when we lose him. But Jimmy will get a best bet from him, and then we'll probably let him go on his way, and we'll see if we can get a best bet from him in a moment or two. In the meantime, let's talk about first of all the Ice Guys family plan. Of course, $9.99 US per month. Make sure you get on board with that. Our daily betting card, player props, you name it, are going to be there. Bonus content, all that great stuff. Make sure you sign up, subscribe to the Ice Guys family plan, $9.99 US per month. And we will make an announcement right now for you with the live betcasts for the month of November. We're going to have 2 live betcasts, and our first one is going to be next Thursday, November the 9th. Okay, that's next Thursday. It's 6 days away, November the 9th. And this is going to be our first family plan YouTube channel, family plan members only betcast. So to be able to watch this betcast starting at 7 p.m. Eastern next Thursday, you will have to be a member of the family plan. That's your only way to watch it, and it's your only way to join us on the stream on Thursday night next week. So there you go. That's the first one. It's our first Ice Guys family plan members only exclusive betcast next Thursday, November 9th, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be on for the early games next Thursday. So all the games that are 7 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we will stay on for the entirety of those games. And then we'll play it by ear after that, how long we stay on. But mostly it'll be just for the early games. So that's next Thursday, our first family plan members only betcast. And then our other betcast in November, which will be the usual one, the regular one, publicly viewed, free for all, It'll be for public viewing on the Ice Guys YouTube channel. That will be on Tuesday, November 21st at 7 p.m. Eastern time. That will be our regular monthly betcast for everyone. So those are the two betcasts in November. Thursday, November 9th, next week, 7 p.m. Eastern, Family Plan members only betcast. And then Tuesday, November 21st, 7 p.m. Eastern for our regular monthly betcast for the entire viewing public. So there you go. We're looking forward to both.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be great. And like I said, really interested to see how this is going to work with the Family Plan betcast next week. And like I said, now's the time to sign up to be a part of that. It's just $9.99 a month. Like I said, we've been doing well. Had a couple more hits with the live wagers as well. Also check out the Patreon page as well, patreon.com/ice guys, $10 a month. I know, Ian, you got your power rankings coming up there soon. I updated my power rankings as well. Chris Otto's charts, we'll have the new ones up as soon as we get off the air here as well. And also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. Next 3 days, you can get 20% off of everything in the store. Just click on the button when you get to the top of the page and hit a little redeem button. That'll give you 20% off of anything you order at the website. So that's iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
All right, great stuff. Make sure you check that out. Again, sign up as an Ice Guys Family Plan member. Check out, of course, the Ice Guys store as well. And a special thanks, of course, on Fridays. It's a Beantown Friday. It's our sponsors, Boston Hemp Inc. Time now to see what they offer. There it is, Boston Hemp Inc. Make sure you check it out, the nation's premier online resource for pure CBD, THCA-infused hemp products. Make sure you check it out, the Boston Hemp Inc. dispensary, bostonhempinc.com, sponsor of Beantown Fridays here on the Ice Guys show. All right, it's time for everyone's favorite segment here on the Ice Guys show, the bargain bin special of the night. I gave it away already. It's a can't miss opportunity for a guy that obviously putting him on the top line worked out okay the other night in Philadelphia for the Buffalo Sabres. We're going to go back to Brandon Biro for the Buffalo Sabres at plus 470 to find the back of the net tonight, playing with Tage Thompson and Jordan Greenway on the Buffalo Sabres top line. Absolute value for sure. Obviously should have confidence offensively coming off that 2-goal game the other night. Brandon Biro, Buffalo, plus 470 for my bargain bin special of the night. Alex, anything on the card for you for a bargain bin tonight?
Nothing for me today, but I got something lined up for tomorrow, so definitely want to tune in and check that out.
All right, definitely. So tomorrow, big card, a lot more games, a lot more opportunities. So we'll definitely look to have something from Alex for the bargain bin special segment tomorrow on the massive Saturday card. And make sure you don't miss that. Noon Eastern tomorrow, the big Saturday edition of the Ice Guys show. It is a 15-game bonanza in the NHL tomorrow. 15 games, 30 teams in action. So we will be breaking it all down for you tomorrow at noon Eastern. We're actually going to have to go at a quicker pace tomorrow because my Ticats are playing a CFL East semifinal playoff game at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. And I think need to be out of here by like 2 Eastern at the latest. So we're going to try to go 60 to 90 minutes with the show tomorrow. Rapid fire. We'll just blast on through it. I won't be able to mention every single prop, unfortunately, and I won't have enough time for that, but I'll mention a couple and we'll stick largely to sides and totals, at least for me on the Saturday card tomorrow. But props, you guys know what I look at, and I'll say it right now just as a primer in case I don't go into detail with player props on the show tomorrow due to time constraints. Players moving up to the top line or the second line, players facing their former team, players playing on the power play or moving up to a power play unit, players in good form right now that have scored goals or gotten points in multiple games, consecutive games, 5 of the last 6 games, they've scored a goal, stuff like that. Those are all players that fit the player prop criteria for me. So even though I won't get to all of them tomorrow, you'll know what I'm looking at based on that criteria if you actually look at the way players line up on the card tomorrow. So definitely looking forward. We'll still give you the analysis and looking forward to a huge Saturday card tomorrow with 15 games on tap. All right, best bets here for the Friday edition, a Beantown Friday edition of the Ice Guys show. Alex, we'll start with you. What do you like for best bet?
Yeah, so it's kind of tough because both games I like the looks that are live. So what had to kind of improvise a little bit. We're going with both teams to score in the first period with New Jersey and St. Louis. You can get that at BetMGM at plus 140. So both teams to score in the first period plus 140 with New Jersey and St. Louis. Like I said, there's been goals left and right with these Devils games so far. 9 games all going over the total. Definitely expect to see that, but definitely want to look and grab better prices in game. So the only thing pregame would be both teams to score with St. Louis and New Jersey in the first period, plus 140. It's my best bet for this Friday.
All right, there we go. New Jersey, St. Louis, both teams to score at a nice plus price first period for Alex B. Smith with his best bet. And my best bet, obviously only 2 games. So, by default, I feel a little bit stronger about the Flyers Sabres over 6.5 minus 130. So that's what we'll go with for best bet. Philadelphia, Buffalo over 6.5 minus 130. 10 of the last 11 meetings between the teams have gone over the total. We'll see if we can get another one tonight. Philly, Buffalo over 6.5 for my best bet. That'll wrap up this edition of the show. Thanks to everyone for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. And if you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast providers. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Friday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will see you tomorrow, Saturday, noon Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks for watching a Beantown Friday edition of the Ice Guys.